Welcome back, tribe. Have an episode here from Chris Bowie. Covered one of his videos before. He's an Australian dude talking about the struggle down there and the land down under. And he's got one titled, I'm Just Tired of Surviving. I think this is a Western world problem in whole.
I live in Australia, and take a walk with me, guys. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been flogging myself at work, and I finally had a minute to take a quick walk and do a YouTube video. I'm tired. I just did my Coles shop again for the fortnight. Lo and behold, another price hike from Coles. Prices have gone up, not down, 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 like their little pointy finger thing says. Prices have gone up. And I was comparing it through. I was like, okay, so like a year ago, where is it to now? And the difference is I've been maintaining the budget, but I've been removing items out and shopping down. So, instead of getting a median cut of meat, like a decent piece of meat, now getting much cheaper meat. I'm looking for yellow sticker meat. Meat's about to expire that I can throw into the freezer. Snacks. I bought no snacks this fortnight. Snacks are gone from the budget, and the price is coming the same. I had a look at items. I was like, okay, that's gone up $2 since even last fortnight. Things just went up in price. It's a price hike. And I'm bracing for an electricity bill. It's going to be higher than ever. It's going to be one of the biggest electricity bills coming through for the usage I've done. I'll cut back on the usage, but the rate for usage is going to be higher than ever. I'm tired. Is anyone else feeling the same?
Oh, yeah.
How are you? Are you in survival mode? Are you tired of being in survival mode? So I'm feeling, man. I'm feeling that burn. It's just endless. And, asking the question, where's the light? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Why are we getting flogged so hard in this country, mate? What's going on here? And before people can turn around and say, well, mate, your electricity's high, just get solar. Dude, I'm renting. Okay, I can't do solar panels. I can't go and spend $10,000 and install solar panels on my landlord's house. What's the point of doing that? So I spend 10 grand and get some discounted electricity, and then at any given point, the landlord can turn around and say, I'm not renewing the lease. I've got to go spend labor and stuff like that, removing it. No, okay, it doesn't work. If it was a long-term house, I'm like, cool, I bought a house, I'm going to be here for the next 20, 30 years. Yeah, sure, solar, great idea. As a renter, there's no reasoning for landlords to install solar to keep their tenants' electricity bills down. Okay, they don't do it. It just doesn't happen. There's no incentives for them to do it. And if they did go ahead and do it, and they're like, yeah, cool, let's make this a solar house, all they're going to do is increase the rent for the cost of the solar to be installed. So they get the solar panels for free, and sure, tenants get cheap electricity, but the free is the increase to the rent for the tenants. So yeah, renters are kind of forgotten in this whole solar discussion, this renewable discussion. But all I know is my bills are going to be going up for the usage. It just keeps going up exponentially. Well, not exponentially, but if you zoom out far enough, it's going to be exponentially. It's just getting worse and worse in this country. Now, I'm above the median income in this country. I'm earning more than $67,000 a year. I'm working 3 jobs. I got a full-time job. I do DoorDash and Uber Eats in my spare time and do these YouTube videos. It all adds up a little bit. But
Do you see what it takes to survive in the world today? Not get ahead, survive. I told you guys we're in this weird gig economy where you're going to, like the whole old corporate way of you get one job with a pension, the company will keep you for 20, 30 years, and you get to retire and, you have your life set, after 65, whatever. That shit's gone, dude. Companies don't show loyalty anymore. The pay doesn't match the increase with inflation and cost of living. You can't afford to buy your own house. He's a renter. He's a renter that has to work for 3 jobs, one of them being YouTube, which he's probably doing good because he just got 70K views on this video alone. Yep, 72,000. So doing decent on YouTube. Has to DoorDash and deliver food and shit, Uber Eats, plus his full-time job. So the dude, like when he says, I'm tired of just surviving, I'm tired of breaking my back for 3 separate businesses so I could just barely live a decent life. Somehow we're making progress. The progressives will tell you that this is the utopia that they're building, that their ideas, their policies are somehow enriching all of us. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. From Australia to the UK to America, the average person is getting poorer. The economy is going down the shitter. The borders are porous and open. Wages have stagnated for a multitude of reasons. We don't even have to get into that in this video. But it seems like every government is doubling down on exactly how we got here, despite the people being angry, stretched thin, and living paycheck to paycheck.
Above the $67,000 median income per year. And I know that others are on 67 or below, and they're doing it tougher than me. It's harder, okay? I know that. But the thing is, it shouldn't be the case. We've hit the point where only 10% of housing is affordable to the person on the median income in this country. 90% of housing is unaffordable. It's ridiculous. It's showing a break in the system. Now, a person on the median income should be able to afford the median house in this country, but it's just not happening. It's not happening. It's so far gone now. Now it's at the point where two people on the median income cannot afford the median house in this country, in capital cities especially. Capital city prices has just clicked. Median income across capital cities in Australia, median cost for that house has just gone over $1 million.
God.
And out rural or regional, that's now over $670,000 for the median. Not the most expensive, not the cheapest, but the median, the one right there, smack bang in the middle. $670,000 out rural. The average price between it all is about $880,000 nationwide for the median house. And it's at the point, guys, where the median income for two people working on the median income cannot afford the median income house in this country anymore. Even our rural, a couple on the median income now needs to save over $100,000 to bridge the gap between the maximum that a borrower, a bank, a broker will give in order for them to get into that median income. Capital cities, over $450,000 they'll need to save on their deposit. And when rent keeps going up and bills keep going up, food keeps going up, we're in survival mode. When we're in survival mode, how are you supposed to save that much? You can't. You can't. Two people on the median income can't do that anymore. So you got to earn more and more and more and more. Work more and more hours, work more jobs, pick up another job. How much are you supposed to work in this country? What gives? When does it break? When does it break? And people are like, oh, well, you just get a better job. Who are you? Joe Hockey? It's one of our politicians. He said, oh, yeah, to solve housing crisis, everyone just needs to get a better job. Ridiculous.
Holy shit. How disconnected could your politicians possibly be to say, just get a better job, bro? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Guess you shouldn't be doing Uber Eats. Well, pick the wrong career to be in. Should be a corrupt politician just like me, taking money from special interests just like me, being wined and dined to the tune of millions of dollars of backroom deals just like me. Ha ha! You deliver food? Ha! Didn't you know being a politician is way more profitable? Jesus. Eat the rich, dude. I'm starting to the left saying that over and over, it's becoming more and more and more palatable. Really, it is. Because these people are out of control. Honestly, they're so out of touch that every single piece of legislation they pass does not affect them in their gated communities, but has detrimental, often devastating effects for normal middle-class people. And it's a nightmare scenario for the poor. I mean, forget about even the poor right now, because they're doing the worst and getting much worse part of the stick in this whole deal. But the middle class, that used to be the backbone of every country, that made it so that services and goods could be bought and sold so that these big corporations were making decent money. Yeah, that's all gone. The middle class has evaporated upward into the wealthy post-pandemic when we shut out the middle class from their jobs, didn't provide them with any relief, and then boom, open the doors to everybody, but only the multinational corporations were allowed to be open. It's so fucked, dude. It's so fucking, we're not going to get reparations. We're not rebuilding a middle class. We're going to have a bifurcation of society where there's going to be only businesses that cater to the wealthy that thrive and survive. Because once we get into, let's just say a global recession is on the, avenue in the next couple of years or so. And if that were to happen, who's going to survive? Only the businesses that deal with the wealthy. Because you could see it happening in society today. I've mentioned this. What houses are they building? Mostly luxury houses. What apartments and townhouses are they building? Mostly luxury, giant McMansions and shit like that. Businesses and services. Who are they catering to? People that could afford expensive business and services that they need, right? My business in America, and this was already in 2017 is when I started it. So post-pandemic, not even during the pandemic. Oh, even before March 2020 when we shut down, my business was, if I were to say, the commercial side was probably 30%, the government side 20%, and the rest was residential, let's say. And of the residential, if I split that pie, it was pretty even. It's pretty much half of normal working class people doing basic repairs around the house, And then, the wealthier elite that were doing complete remodels of like absolutely everything, kitchens, additions to houses, new facade on everything, blah, blah, blah. Post pandemic, it turned to 80-20. 80% of the residential work was nothing but wealthy people, not even upper middle class. We're talking wealthy people whose houses are worth $5 to $10 million. Everybody else below that got wiped out. They rarely do. The only time we dealt with normal working people is if they were prepping to sell their house and they needed to do repair work to have the house in good standing while it was being sold on market. That was it. That was it. I don't think people have a real idea of just how much business and services have shrunk for normal everyday people and has increased on the other end. All that money has flown into luxury business and services for the wealthy. You really don't understand. You'll see in the next 5 to 10 years, I think this gap is going to get huge, especially accelerated by a worldwide, say, recession or depression, whatever they're going to choose to call it, just an economic downturn in general, as the bubbles all start to pop. And you're going to see the only businesses left standing are going to be the ones that serve customers who have a huge cash flow.
Ridiculous, but it's showing. The wealth divide is here.
Yeah.
It's noticeable now. This is when the middle class is noticeably eroding. We're seeing it. We're seeing the middle class of this country disappear faster and faster. The top 10% of wealth, wealthiest people in this country, the top 10% has 15 times the wealth of the lowest 60% of people in this country. That's huge. And that's increasing more and more and more every year. The wealth divide is here, and the middle class is getting fucking obliterated. It's at the point where we have to start to look at how can we protect our class? How can we protect the middle class? How can we stop the middle class from completely eroding here? Because it's not getting any better. Regardless of what our politicians say, it's not getting any better. If anything, it's getting harder and harder and harder. People working more and more and more to get the same outcome, if not a worse outcome.
Yeah, less actually.
That shows that our country is going backwards.
Yeah, you have to work harder today to get less. That's actually what's really happening. It's not the same outcome. You have to work 10 times harder to get even less of the pie. The wealth inequality is absolutely huge. People don't really have any idea. They think they know how bad things are. You feel it in your wallet here and there. But when you look at the numbers really and you see the legislation being passed and who's getting tax breaks and how it's all structured, you're going to wake up to a nightmare, dude, that you are way more fucked than they're willing to tell you. For example, you think the entire time that they were talking about inflation, for example, you think the numbers of like 2-3% is what the real inflationary number was month over month or year over year? When certain items have doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price in 1 year alone, yet they tell you we've only experienced 2 to 3% inflation, 20% inflation max. When you know that your dollar goes like half as far as it did 4 years ago, the fact that houses went from like, let's say you could get a house for $250, $300. Now that same exact house turned into like $350, $500. Same house, same everything, same development in the area. Nothing new was built, just simply debasement of your local currency. Isn't that insane? So the numbers they're telling us are complete bullshit, because if people knew just how bad it was, just how much inflation ate into your purchasing power, there would be riots in the street. Your little like 50-cent raise, if that, cannot compete with real, probably 10+% inflationary rates that we've actually experienced overall when you calculate everything with real numbers, month over month over month. It's crazy, dude. I've seen videos of people that have apps that track their purchases, like receipts and stuff, digital receipts from online orders. And a guy used to order, I don't know, a basket of items were like $120 and that shit jumped to $180. Or somebody used to say like, this cost me $78 and now he spent like $180 on that same exact fucking cart of stuff. They're lying, dude. You know how you know that they're lying? Because you feel the hurt in your wallet and they tell you it's okay. They tell you they got it under control. It's transitory. It'll be fine soon. Don't worry, we got inflation under control. We're at target 2%. But shit's still getting too expensive. Your currency's being debased. They have no legislation to fix this. You're squeezed out of housing. Your car payment's too expensive. Hell, the interest rate alone on cars and mortgages are way too high. You'd be priced out of a house you could originally afford on month to month. I don't know, man. That's like, how much more pain does the middle class and lower class need until they start demanding wealth equality? And, it's insane because they got the game wrapped so tight, dude, that average, ordinary people will actually vote against their own interests, saying we shouldn't be taxing the rich because, they worked hard for their money. There's people that are literally making that argument. I was watching an episode the other day of some guy doing street interviews, and people were saying like, no, we shouldn't be taxing the wealthy like that. Trickle down economic, like they bought into that bullshit. Like wealthy people worked hard for their money. I would assume if I worked really hard and became a I don't want the government to take most of my money away. It's like, dude, we're just talking about taxing the top percentile at wealth, right? Their assets that they own. That's it. You think Bezos needs, even know how much billions Bezos has. Does he have like over $100 billion? I don't know. I think Elon has 300 something, 50 billion. Dude, hundreds of billions of dollars concentrated into the hands of one man. It's insane. They can't even spend all this money. They would have to buy up assets, your houses, the stocks. Everything is inflated. Like stock market's inflated, housing's inflated. What do you think these private equity firms take money from and then go and spend? Why? Because they can't sit in cash, dude. It makes no sense to sit in cash. You lose purchasing power. You lose to inflation. So, bright idea, guys. We're going to buy up every single house in the neighborhood. It's like, oh, wow. Then you're looking around like, why do rich people buy all the houses? Yeah, bro, tax the shit out of them at wealth, at the point of their wealth, on their assets. You can't really escape that. Yeah, it's hard to tax rich people. I understand they can move money and, you could incorporate a company globally anywhere you want and through shell companies and licensing deals and rights and all this shit. It makes them almost impossible to tax, but yeah, you got to try it anyway. What is the alternative? The wealth inequality keeps growing, guys. And as it keeps growing, you will become more and more destitute. The economy will be tilted in the favor of the wealthy to serve the wealthy while you're going to be forgotten because there's no money in serving you and offering you anything business related. Houses are already trending towards that direction. They don't make starter homes anymore because they're not profitable. They're not profitable like a luxurious home with all the bells and whistles and the markups. And they don't have to deal with poor people and struggling to get loans from banks and haggling on prices or a little, inspection here and there. Rich people just be like, yeah, cool. That's a nice house. So it's a cool view. Inspectors don't really give a fuck. Let's do this deal. I'll renovate it how I want anyways. They're like, rich people are easy to deal with because money to them isn't shit. They wipe their ass with it. I know because I dealt with them. Dealing with a rich person in housing is so much smoother than poor people who treat it as their real nest egg, their legacy in their life. It's the culmination of all the hard work placed into the house. That is their only safe place in a shitty world that they're forced to live in. But a rich person, a house is just another thing like fucking change under your couch, dude. It's something that could be replaced, that you have multiples of, that you could move away from or rebuild somewhere else at any moment's notice. They don't care. It's like a box with 4 fucking walls. That's it. That's what a house is to them. So they don't treat it like it's their lifeline in the world. It's so different. Unless you've been in this kind of business, you don't see this kind of shit. And it's sad because it's only going to get worse, man. So this was Chris Bowie. Links will be in the description below if you want to see his video. I could go on and on for this topic simply from being in remodeling and construction. I used to do it in Georgia, in Atlanta, in the Metro Gwinnett area. Well, actually all over Georgia in the Metro Atlanta area. Way out there, all the way to Smyrna, all the way from, as far as Columbus too. Alpharetta, all that stuff. Yeah, I worked on all the millionaire houses there, dude. I know all the rich neighborhoods. Those are the only people that are doing well. This guy says, I hear you. 1 step forward, 3 steps back. I'm nearly 58, have a degree, a master's, and worked my back off for years. A 2007 divorce saw me lose my last chance to ever own a home. There you go. And I've been trying to keep my head above water since. Last quarterly electricity bill was almost $700. Shit. I'm tired too, and I got barely any fight left in me. $700 electricity bill, dude. That's squeezing people to death. I'm tired of pretending like things are okay. A common mistake I hear often is the government is stupid or they don't understand. Make no mistake about it. No matter where you live, they aren't stupid and they know exactly what they're doing. Yes. Absolutely facts. Nobody in government is actually stupid. They feign stupidity to dodge accountability. They know what they're doing. Their sponsors and all that dirty money that they call lobbying, which is really just another way of bribery, calling it bribery. They know exactly what they're doing. They're being pushed into a direction by very smart people who understand what it takes, what they need to survive in this environment. I mean, America, for example, is corporation controlled. If you're a corporation in America, you were granted personhood, essentially, with Citizens United, and you were given an unlimited amount of ability to donate to campaign funds. And amongst the other benefits that you've been gaining over the years, like, for example, if you're a pharmaceutical company, you have immunity from being sued if you develop a faulty product, as we've seen post-pandemic. I mean, if you look at like corporate rights and citizen rights, corporate rights have been steadily increasing and they've become more and more intertwined with government, and citizen rights and, cost of living, whatever else you want to attach to that, has been lowering more and more and more. Don't believe me? You could get sued, or not even sued. Excuse me. You could get arrested, probably in Australia too, but for sure in the UK, for example, for saying something about Muslims or grooming gangs or immigrants in general. And you can hurt somebody's feelings online. The UK police will come to your house and arrest you, and you could do jail time. Citizens' rights down. But if you're a corporation, you got more tax advantages than you've ever had. You're making more and more profit than you ever have. Remember, while we were in the pandemic, while the world was in a state of shock, standstill, we had record corporate profits. How does that make sense? And there'll still be people arguing like, yeah, but that markup, it wasn't real profit because the price of everything went up so downstream what we were paying, the prices weren't just inflated for us. It was for everybody. No, dude, stop arguing for corporations. They didn't need to 5x the cost of a fucking product because their cornstarch was more expensive from the farmer because of shutdown, and logistics and transport went up 5x. So, they made record profits. Okay. It's insane. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.